Welcome to today's episode of Tech Time, and we are looking at the Tesla Model 3 front drive unit. Now, I'm not going to do a full strip down on this. This is basically to show you how to swap out the inverter if you get a damaged Model 3 front drive unit. This is a really common problem on the Model 3s because if you have any front impact, it tends to damage the front right engine mount, or front left, whichever one it is. Basically snaps it off, damages the encoder. Now the issue is you can't just swap out the drive unit on the Model 3 because the motor / drive unit is paired with the vehicle. So the best solution I've come up with so far is to buy another motor of the same age, so same year, as close to the same production date as possible, and actually swap out the inverter, because the inverter is the part which is paired to the vehicle, not the motor and gearbox. So we're going to take a quick look, we're going to get this apart, show you how to swap that inverter out if you get a damaged Model 3, plus we'll have a quick look over it and have a look inside the inverter for those of you that are interested in that sort of thing. So, let's go. Now the first thing I'm going to do on the Model 3 is remove this engine mount. Oh, why do I keep calling it engine? Motor. Motor mount. So we'll get this off out the way to start with. Everything on these are torque, either male or female, which are a fairly standard bit set. You can buy from most places. Now they've gone with the same principle on the Model 3 front motor as they have with the front motors in the Model S. So they're an AC induction motor, just a lot more compact. And they have split the coolant, so they have liquid coolant for the inverter, then they have an oil coolant exchanger for the motor gearbox side of things. But they do seem to all link together, so it feeds in through the inverter, then through the motor coolant exchanger, then out back to the vehicle, rather than having it split on a T-piece like they did in the Model S. Now I need to do the high voltage connections on the back of here, which is the 3 connections, remove my coolant connections, and then we can start undoing the inverter bolts. Clever off, I didn't pull on it. So it's got little Torx hidden down inside of there. If I can find the right size. Now, this is standard torque, but Tesla have made them very flat, so what I'm actually going to have to do, it's a snap-on one, maybe try one that's not snap-on, and actually flatten off the head, so it sits down flat, because at the moment I'm not quite picking up on the teeth. And it looks like we've got 10mm bolts inside of here, which will get undone next. Now those are out, we can actually remove our coolant fittings. Start working our way around the Torx on the outside of the inverter housing. So we'll now get the coolant connections off, out of the way. See how much coolant's left in here then, shall we? Not much. Not too bad. And what I've done, I've cut the top of my snap-on socket. Maybe could have done it straight, but hopefully it'll do the job. Gonna go and get myself a persuasion tool. Before I try and get this inverter off, I'm just gonna pull the coolant connector off, because I know my luck, I'll probably snap it off if I'm not careful. There we go. There we go. Off in one. Now this is what the encoder looks like in the end of the motor. This is the one off the damaged unit, as you can see. This is actually submerged in oil with the motor all the time. As you can see, now I've got the inverter off of the drive unit. We're going to whip the inverter off the damaged motor, fit it to this one, and then that should be good to go. If it's not, so if you've got a damaged HV connector or worse, you may need to find a specialist that can actually reprogram the motor to the vehicle, which currently is quite difficult to find. Thanks for watching, hit the subscribe button, and I'll see you soon.